Hello and welcome to another episode of Table Talk, R&D for Greater RP. Today's episode is on magic. It's a request by Professor Dungeon Master over at Dungeon Craft. Don't forget to check the link to his stuff down in the doobly-doo. It's great stuff. Magic, as it's presented, rules as written, is not magic. When I was a little kid, I ran my first game of D&D, and a friend of mine said, "Hey, where's the spell that lets me turn every orc in 100 miles into bunny rabbits?" And I went, "There is no spell for that." And he said, "Why not?" He looked at me all crestfallen and just a little bit hopeful and said, "Why not?" It's magic, isn't it? How come I have to choose? I have to have crummy hit points, right, compared to the fighter guy, the barbarian guy, or the cleric guy. Yeesh. But I still don't have options. I said, "Sure you do. You have such and such spells." He goes, No. I mean, I want options, because the fighter can swing his sword however he wants. If he wants to throw it and make it bounce off of a bad guy, he can do that. If the rogue wants to make a trick shot with his crossbow, he can do that too. But my spells are just the way they are? That's lame. That's even less magical than what they can do. And they don't even have magic. And I said, "You know what? You have a point. Roll high and we'll see what happens." And he rolled a natural 20, and I said, "Sure, every orc in 100 miles is a bunny rabbit." And weeks later, bunny rabbits, hundreds and hundreds of bunny rabbits, the size of orcs, poured out of the holes and ran all over the kingdom of Congoria looking for food, because the rabbit ecosystem was not prepared to handle that many new rabbits that big overnight. The player that cast that spell looked at me and said, nuts." And it was awesome. There was fear in his eyes. There was concern in his eyes. There was a sense of duty in his eyes because this was his fault and he knew it. But most importantly, there was a look of wonder in his eyes. It felt like magic to him. You could just smell it. And it was so awesome. Every single player who subscribes to the idea of magic, I'm going to trade in the safety of armor or the security of a bunch of hit points to have magic powers, should be able to say, "I wield magic powers," and have it feel more than just some machismo. It should feel awesome to have magic powers. Earlier in the recording, I said that rules as written magic is not magic. It isn't. It's science instead. In Star Wars, when the Jedi teach each other how to get in more connection with the Force, which is to say, to increase the power of their mana bar, they don't say, "Take 3 steps forward, thrust your arm out and open your palm, and lightning will shoot out of these 3 fingertips into a target that's up to 60 feet away." They say, "Reach inside yourself, find your connection with the Force, and make the thing that you want to make happen, happen. Make it happen." But surely it can't be as easy as reach inside yourself, be introspective, and get magic powers. It's not. They take years of study to understand the oddity that is the Force. In 5e, for example, Acid Splash is a cantrip that takes exactly one action, is instant every time, has verbal, somatic, and components. It shoots 60 feet, one target or 2 targets within 5 feet of each other within those 60 feet. Does 1d6 damage until you hit 5th level, where it goes up. Every time. Your 2 options are, here's the damage you get, or it didn't work because you missed the AC or DC or whatever you're doing. This means that you get the same result every single time. That's not magic. That's the scientific method at work. If I can teach you how to do a thing the same way I learned how to do it, from my master who learned how to do it from his master who learned it the same way, I am showing you how to make blueberry muffins that I am just calling acid spray. I've handed you a recipe card, and as long as you follow it to the T, exactly like it's written on the card, you'll get the same result every time. It's safe, it's reliable, you can count on it, and it's not magic. So I encourage you to put magic back in your game. Make up your own spells. Maybe don't do that. Maybe just don't have predetermined spells. Just be like, "Hey, look, I want to do such and such." Okay, imagine the impact that they want to do. How dangerous that's going to be. How much it's going to shake up the world, right? their overall skill level. How many times have they cast magic in the past? You don't need a specific number, right? But do they cast magic all the time? Maybe they've gotten the hang of it. Do they cast fire magic all the time? Maybe they've gotten better at that. Maybe magic in your world is unstable, so if you cast a lot of fire, get worse at casting a lot of ice. Just don't make a big thing out of it. Set a number. They say, I want to do this. You set a DC. They roll. Have fun. It's magic. The best place to find magic is in the imagination. Because once you've written something down and people can repeat it, it's not magic anymore. It's known. It's science. It's okay, I guess, but it's not magic. So I encourage you to take the spell section in your book or your game and readdress it and put some magic back into it. Give your players the opportunity to have the face that player had at my table when we were little kids, where he turned every single orc in 100 miles into bunny rabbits. I would love to know what you think about this video for various reasons. One is the first one that just has me in it. Two, I tend to get a little preachy when I talk about stuff, and I'm sorry about that. And three, I would just love to hear you all have strong opinions. That's how come this show exists. I would love to hear them. I hope your tables go awesomely, awesomely well. Have a great day. Later days.